Let's start with sales contracts. This is the Levridge solution, and what we have is the full dashboard here with all the menu choices here. We go to modules and we navigate down to commodity accounting, and under outbound we have a screen called sales contracts. And you're first presented with a list of all the sales contracts that are open, sales contracts that are in your system, and you can simply create a new one by adding the new button. But for today, let's just take a look at one that I've already created. Here's a contract. It's a cash contract. We support multiple different contract types. It's with Big K feeders for 250 tons of soybean meal. Let's take a look at that contract. We'll just zoom in on that by hitting the hyperlink on the contract number. And we can see here, the contract was written on July 20th of 2022. It's in tons. There's 250 tons, which is 10 loads is our plan. We haven't shipped any, haven't canceled any, and so we have 250 tons remaining on the contract. We can also have a discount schedule if we want to, if there are quality factors that affect the price that we get for the product. Terms of payment will default as far as when we create the invoice. And then we can also add a freight charge to shipments that are applied to this contract. And we can calculate those freight charges by the load, by the unit, or we can pass the vendor billed freight charges, the freight that the vendor bills us, we can pass that on to the customer with the vendor billed option. We'll take a look at that freight functionality in a later video. The transportation mode, delivery terms, weights and grades to govern. It can either have origination or destination weights to govern. Here we can change this from destination. We'll just click on the change it to origin weights. And then any mark-to-market adjustments that you want to include when you bring this contract to market. Below that is the delivery schedule. And this is the pricing and delivery of when our customer can expect or when they have committed to take delivery of the product. We can have multiple delivery periods here. This contract just has one. It's for July. There's 250 tons. And the board price for the product is $313 a ton with a basis of 13, makes it $326 per ton is the agreed upon price for delivery in July. If you had more delivery schedules or delivery timeframes, you can list those in here by just simply adding more lines, and you can make a whole delivery schedule and price schedule if the price is different. Another key feature is the alternate pricing component of the delivery schedule. So in this example, we have for July delivery, and it's delivering to the Big K feeders shipping address. But down here we can say, hey, with this product, if we ship to Rockwell City, we're going to use a different price of $328 versus the $326 that it is if it's delivered to the home address. If we deliver it to Worthington, it's going to be $338 per ton. So this will automatically then grab the right price on that shipment. When we ship out the product, it'll automatically grab the right price from the contract based on where the product was delivered to. And that is an optional piece. You can use that if you'd like or not. Let's look at some additional information that is stored on the header part of the contract. If you have multiple locations, you can specify in here which plant or location that you're planning to ship from. The market zone is used for mark-to-market. What quality grade you might be shipping. Maybe it's #1 yellow corn or some other grade of product, maybe a certain level of protein on a soybean meal. And you can also specify additional specifications that the product needs to meet in order to ship. This particular contract is load-based. In other words, it's 25 loads. when we ship 25 loads against this contract, it's going to close it regardless of the quantity. So the sales contracts can either be load-based, where we just count the number of loads that we ship, or it can be quantity-based, where we track the quantity that's shipped against the contract. When the contract is full, then that next shipment would go on to the next contract. We have a lot of miscellaneous information here about traders and brokers, reference numbers. We can even track your partner's contract number. We have the shipping addresses here, and then some hedging information here that ties into our risk management system. And this will show how it's positioned on your long and short report. So in all, that's the purchase contract. All in all, that's the sales contract functionality inside of Levridge. We will look next at load orders.